Errol Spence is like a train, and if he's intelligent at how he comes at Terence Bud Crawford, then Crawford has a lot of problems on his hands. So says Anthony Yarde, who witnessed Errol Spence Jr. versus Floyd Mayweather, the infamous sparring. And I'm gonna talk about that and a whole lot more right here in this video. Buckle up and stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. These are the words that I open with from Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde did a recent interview. He was at the fight Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr., if you want to call it a fight. To me, it was a demo job. Beterbiev looked like a monster and stopped Joe Smith Jr. in the second round. Dropped him multiple times. And Anthony Yarde was an interested spectator because he is the mandatory for Beterbiev. Now, you guys need to come in and hit the subscribe button. It's mandatory if you're a fan of boxing. Anthony Yarde in the crowd, Fight Hype, link in the description. They caught up with Yarde and he spoke the praises of Terence Crawford. And you guys got to watch the interview or listen to my interpretation of the interview. But one thing to note is when Anthony Yarde was doing the interview, he didn't seem like he had any type of malice or, you know, just insane bias towards one or the other person regarding Crawford and Errol Spence. He paid the utmost respect to both fighters. And that is a breath of fresh air. In the world of boxing commentary, you got some insane levels of bias where people, you can tell they're highly or heavily siding with the person, not for the right reasons, not for reasons only related to the fight and boxing. So I'm happy to report that's not the case with Anthony Yarde. He paid Terence Crawford as well as Errol Spence the respect that both of them are due. And that's what I said. There's a lot of emotionality in the world of boxing where you just get this wonky, weird commentary. Like it's not okay to be a fan of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And I'm living proof of that. I like Crawford. I think he can fight. I think Errol Spence can fight. You know, outside of each other, it's hard to see many people beating them, you know, in the 147-pound category. So that being said, I really dig Anthony Yarde, just how he gave both fighters respect, because it's that type of fight. Anytime you have a fight of this magnitude, like Hagler Hearns or, you know, Hagler Leonard, you know, you got to give both fighters respect. Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. I mean, these are the best of the best. So Yarde said some interesting things. Yarde said basically he was there. He was there when Mayweather sparred with Errol Spence. And, you know, he's a warrior and he lives by the warrior code, so he couldn't probably go into too much detail of what he's seen. But he says, man, Errol will surprise a lot of people with his boxing ability. He has an innate ability to box. And when he gets on his boxing, you know, he's going to be a problem. And he said he's going to be a problem for Crawford if he intelligently comes for Crawford, because as he calls it, like I said in the beginning of this video, he says that Errol Spence is a train, and that's going to create a lot of problems. So you can't say, oh, he's just biased and hating, because before he actually started getting into the breakdown and talking about witnessing Spence and Mayweather spar, he says that he has Canelo at #1 pound for pound still, but he says Terence Crawford is right behind him at #2. He said maybe a 1A, 1B situation with Errol Spence. So he puts Crawford, and this is telling, at the moment, not having fought Spence, Anthony Yarde is saying that he puts Crawford in the #2 pound for pound spot. So that means you have a high deal of respect and praise for the said fighter if you're going to rank him as a top, you know, within your top 3 of pound for pound. But then the reporter is asking and saying, like, you're rating Terence Crawford highly, but you're picking Errol Spence, and you sound pretty confident that Errol Spence would beat him, right? And he says it's basically based on what he's seen. He says he was in his apprenticeship and he was in Vegas chilling, and he watched Errol Spence. He said he's seen the different, you know, he's trying to imagine being a UK fighter and you're in the States, in Sin City, which is one of the fight capitals in America, bright lights, you know, tons of money, luxury, celebrities and stars, right? And you have to be a sponge, you know. Why wouldn't you want to be there, especially at the Mayweather boxing gym? Floyd was an active fighter at that point, probably training for Maidana or something like that. And you're getting to take this all in. So he's probably studying, and he basically was saying, like, who is this dude? Who is this Spence dude? And he said he's seen how he was training and he likes the way he was working. I've stated many, many times on my channel that I believe personally that Errol Spence Jr. kind of lost his way for a period of time, where not that he was a bad fighter, but self-admittedly, he's told you in podcasts, you just got to put together and do the detective work, listen to the podcast interviews and the comments he's made. But I think he lost his way in terms of the stuff that it took to get him there. He stopped doing, or he stopped doing as much. I'm not saying he wasn't training hard, but from all accounts of everything I've heard, and I know a lot of people who were in the doghouse when Mayweather sparred against Errol Spence Jr. as well. And I've talked to him on record and off record. So I know things that have never made it to the channel. And then some of the interviews and stuff have been posted. And basically all the accounts pretty much match up. And it was saying that it was like intense, high level sparring, people banging, you know, like the Roman gladiator times, banging on the apron, on the canvas of the ring and hyping it up. And Errol Spence definitely held his own, right? So you got to give that props. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, so you don't miss a thing in the world of boxing. So Errol Spence Jr., I think he lost his way in the sense of he stopped doing some of those things as he made more money, and you're in your 20s, your mid 20s, probably at the point. It's easy to fall off the horse because you're making more money, you're lit, you're knocking everyone out, you're beating everyone, you know, and you feel on top of the world. And I can even attest to this as a YouTuber. There's been times where as a YouTuber, you know, I got ahead of myself and I was missing flights and showing up to the fight weeks late. You know, you're eating good, life is peachy, and you forget some of the things that it took to get you there. And Errol Spence has been he's been very candid on his story. So it's been no mystery to the fans, some of the things he went through. And sometimes that's what it takes. You go through those situations where you could have left this earth, like the car accident, and it has a funny way of recentering your focus and recalibrating you. And that's honestly what I think happened to Errol Spence. I think he looked at the situation and realized, you know, what do I want to be? What do I want my legacy to be? What do I want my kids to remember about me, you know, about their father? And, you know, for that reason, you look at the Ugas fight, he looked like he was in better shape than when he fought Sean Porter and Mikey Garcia. Now, as far as Errol being able to box, I've already told you this on my channel, that he can box. I mean, he's an Olympian. You usually don't make it to the Olympics unless you have some overall ability and skill. And Anthony Yarde is just saying what I've already told you. I think if you didn't think Errol Spence it's weird how Errol gets categorized and miscategorized. Like, people act like he has no ability and skill, and, you know, like he's just this puncher and like Ruslan Provodnikov or something. But the proof is in the pudding. If you need to see different shades and wrinkles of what he could do, look at the Mikey Garcia fight, where a lot of people thought at the time Mikey Garcia was the supreme boxer, and Errol Spence beat him with basic fundamentals of boxing. And that was the jab. When you have the style and the upbringing of Errol Spence, I think sometimes, I know a lot of fighters like this, and they get bored with, you know, making it a quote unquote boring fight, or, you know, just boxing fundamentals and stuff like that, when they know they could tear you up and put together sensational, you know, punch combinations and things like that. So it's not that they don't have the ability, it's they could go in that tool bag when they want. And if they can make it an aggressive fight, then they're going to do that. But, you know, even the Shakur Stevenson, I think he likes a little bit more aggression but if someone forced him, then I think you'll see more of the boxing Shakur. You know, just simple boxer stuff. Let me know what you guys think of this Anthony Yarde interview in my video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe. Introducing Super Things. right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $ in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.